Let's talk about characters and plot. Character could be an animal, an old person, a man, or a woman, a teacher, or ladies and gentlemen, a leader or a speaker. And how they interact with each other makes the plot. Now let's learn more about characters and plot. So characters are people or animals in the story. And plot is what happens in the story. It's the events in the story. And characters have different traits, like you may have different hair, or height, or weight, or things you like. Behaviors is the way characters may act in a story. Different characters have different behaviors. And motivation is what makes them want to do what they do. Why would a character do something in a story? That is motivation. And some events, or what happens in the story, change the other events that happen in a story. Same way, how characters interact changes what happens in the story. Maybe they do something, and because of the way they are, what is supposed to happen changes in a story. This is the way characters influence events. Now, let's look at a story. Let's fill out the characters and plot chart to understand this story better. So the two main characters are Ria and Rosie. Think about their traits, behaviors, and motivation as you fill out this chart. Ria is upset. At the very beginning of the story, she says, "How could you?" Her eyes fill with tears as she watched her volcano on the floor. She's upset. And she shows. That's the way she behaves. She shows Rosie she's upset about the dropped volcano. Now we come to Rosie, who is willing to help. She's a helpful character. However, this behavior of Rosie does not affect Ria positively. Ria does not let Rosie help. She says, "Just go away!" Almost shouting. Here, many important things happen in this paragraph. So Rosie goes to Ria's house and talks to Ria's mother, and then she finds out how Ria had made the volcano. So the influence of her action is that Rosie finds out how Ria made the volcano and works on it herself. Meanwhile, in the story, Ria keeps to herself. She sobbed and stayed in her room all evening, all grumpy. So she does not know how Rosie helped her. And finally, even though Ria pretends to stay asleep, fakes a cough, her mom would not take a no, so she has to go to school. Ria is forced to attend the science fair. This is when she looks around, sees Rosie, and then she also sees a volcano on her desk, which is what Rosie had made for Ria. Then she thinks, if I hadn't scared her off, she would have offered to help me, Ria thought. So then, at the end, Ria keeps thinking about the ways to make it up to Rosie. So this is how the plot changes. Now, Ria, who was upset at the very beginning and unwilling to let Rosie help, wants to help Rosie instead, and she thinks of the ways to make it up to Rosie. So this is how the character changes and the plot changes. Knowing what you know about how characters think, act, feel, and what they do affects the plot. Now you can analyze stories, characters, and plot better. Let's talk more later.